Good. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Hello, everyone. We got our first candidate in equity. The recording messed up, so Peter's just gonna continue where he was started, but he was just giving us background and we'll go through this.
Okay, TLDR, my name is Peter. I'm from Saskatchewan. I moved to this school because I think the West Coast is really pretty. I think the ECSS is doing a good job right now, but we just kind of have to polish up a few things. I think the biggest barrier to equity in the ECSS right now is just the accessibility based off costs. I think most other events are all pretty accessible. I want to give some big praise to Beyonce for the accessibility icons idea. But yeah, I think mental health and cost are probably the two biggest parts of this. And so to that end, I'd like to focus on those kinds of things if I get elected. I'd like to collaborate with other student groups on campus. I'm a director of bilingualism for the CDE, which is upcoming. So when that comes around, I hope everyone here, puts an application in and hopefully tries to go.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's about it.
All
All
right, we'll let Maytab go. Just all places, I guess. All right, you can start.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Maytab. I'm a first-year computer science student, and right now I'm the director of charity within the ECSS. And I know that many people in the ECSS feel underrepresented, like women, people of color, people with disabilities. So I want to change that. And I feel like the best way to do that is to listen to students' opinions, because I feel like that's the best way we're going to make a change is if we actually listen to our students. And so some of the ways I want to do that is by an idea I had was that after every event, we do like a survey asking students what they felt was done good, what they felt was done bad, and how we can change that. So we can take that feedback and add it to next year's events. Another one is to recognize special holidays. Like February is Black History Month. We have Truth and Reconciliation in September. We have Women in Engineering in June, Women in Science in February. So I think the best thing to do is recognize that and listen to students' opinions. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you. And finally, we have Arden. You can start.
All right, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Arden. I'm a 4th+ year software engineering student here at UVic. I'm currently the Vice President of Student Life at the ECSS, but I've also been the Vice President of Finance in the past, and I've also just been a general volunteer helping out where I can. As VP Equity, I want to kind of focus on acknowledging the fact that ECSS has sometimes neglected certain groups or has sometimes struggled to properly plan events such that they're maybe rushed or they don't consider all the participants involved. And so I know that the volunteers at the ECSS do a great job. They're all crunched for time. Everyone's doing the best they can with their schedules. And as VP Equity, I kind of want to help manage other people in a better way. One method, besides what's listed in my platform that I've thought of afterwards, was more so having a pre-event checklist so that things aren't missed. Sometimes dietary restrictions are forgotten for some events, and it's important that, that's just as an example, that they get asked beforehand. Another example that hasn't been mentioned in my platform due to word limits was that I want to focus on acknowledging international students as well as Cal, because ECSS hasn't really had relevant work to those groups in the past, and I want to try to contribute to those groups as I can. Overall, I do just want to listen to the ECSS community and collaborate with everyone, whether they be advocacy clubs or advocacy groups on campus, and create a better community for us all. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Awesome. Do we have any questions for our candidates for VP Equity? Any questions? And it can be anything, well, anything on topic. Oh, yes?
Guys want to apply for this role?
Okay, so Peter, we'll start with you and you could just come up here.
Yeah. What made me want to apply? I guess my involvement with the CDE. Like, I love learning languages. I study Russian when I'm not doing engineering. And that was just kind of an oddball choice. Like, I had a gap in my schedule because I have transfer credit for Calc 1 and Calc 2. So I figured, I might try learning a language. I might try to get a little bit more worldly with it. And I spent, I guess, like all my childhood speaking like French at a French immersion school. So yeah, I don't know. I really appreciate kind of a sense of belonging in that way. Like I remember meeting kids at my school who only spoke French and they just come from somewhere else and they really appreciated feeling like home. And yeah, I just like to do that for other people.
Awesome, thank you, Peter. Next up, Maytab.
Okay, I wanted to join because right now I am director of charity. So I think the next logical step would be to become a VP. So I was looking through it and this one kind of resonated with me the most because I do have friends that are disabled and they have said that they weren't able to attend some events because say they couldn't participate because of the disability. So I want to make all the events be accessible for everybody. And as like a woman in a male dominated field, I think it's important to raise awareness to the fact.
Awesome, thank you, Maytab. Arden.
Yeah. So as student life, I've worked in a variety of things and more so related to the cultural at UVic, such as merch, and technically mental health is a core tenet of student life. But because of the other commitments, such as working with clubs or working on the services, such as the store, it's been really tricky for myself to find time to actually prioritize those. And I realized that as VP Equity, I would have a more serious chance at helping with mental health, as well as more so just focusing on the actual helping aspect of people a bit more directly, rather than focusing on services or other things like that.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, do we have any other questions for VP Equity? Jay?
Does any of you have any plans to incorporate our different groups like West and West in order to reach the different groups that we have?
So the question was, if you couldn't hear, do you have any plans to incorporate groups like West and Wex into other groups we have?
Like, and to reach kind of like get advertised ECSS to those different groups.
Okay, awesome. So this time we'll let Maytab answer first, then Arden, then Peter.
Yes, so I want to get to know more of like the UVic clubs and see what they're doing for mental health as well and get feedback from there and then give feedback from the ECSS and just like combine our ideas to just make the best. I think it would be really helpful to connect with West, even other schools that have mental health groups. I know some of them do. I think it would be really nice to get feedback from them.
Awesome, thank you. Then Arden.
Yeah, so I've already mentioned in my platform about doing a collaboration with WEX again with the Anti-Violence Project at UVic to do a more so a violence preparedness workshop again, which is something that was run last year, I believe both in the summer and in the fall. I wasn't here in the summer, so I'm just trying to look at Joven for approval on that. But that workshop was really important for myself to just kind of like hear other people's experiences. And I would love if we could broaden that to the overall community here at UVic. One thing I wanted to add on to that is that there is a lot of clubs have to do more sexual awareness training to be a club at UVic. However, I don't believe ECSS actually requires that for any of its members. And so I want to kind of try to set the standard that we weren't willing to do a hands-on workshop for this rather than trying to do a bright space course, trying to build up momentum for that and set the standard for other people.
Awesome, thank you, Arden. Now next up, you have Peter.
And yeah, to answer your question 100%, I think our biggest strength is data and knowing what we have to target. And so by collaborating with other groups on campus, whether it be like academic groups or student groups or anything like that, the more we know, the better we can accommodate other people and we can accommodate like the needs of everyone in the ECSS.
Awesome, thank you, Peter. Do we have any other questions for our VP Equity candidates? Wait up.
As you know, I'm sure engineering is like a historically explosive major to be in. And so Professional Engineers Canada have a bunch of initiatives going on, like there's the 30 by 30 for getting women into the professional engineering sphere. Would you, like any of you, be willing to like implement things that are going on at other universities, or are you aware of successful programs that are at other universities that we could implement in at UVic?
Arden, you'll go first this time.
Yeah, so I don't know any of the other initiatives that are going on at other universities. However, I do know that one of the best ways to kind of help more so foster connection with, say, with women in engineering or computer science is to try to help them more with resources as well as events. That's why I think groups like WEX do such a good job at that. It's because they have a bunch of social events for this. I would like to say that the ECSS would allocate more money towards these initiatives rather than having it more as a general line item such as general events. I know that we are collaborating with WEX to do a girls' night, and this is a question that's always kind of difficult to answer every single term just because no one's really certain about it. But I think that it comes from good planning to try to help actually research these initiatives. Like you suggested, I think that as VP Equity, that would probably be one of my first steps in the summer is to research these initiatives so that for the fall to next summer budget, they could be actually implemented and actioned on.
What about you, Andy? Next up would be Peter.
Yeah, so actually my girlfriend is running for lounge director at the Regina Engineering Students Society. And so she's been telling me everything that's been going on over in Regina and kind of what's the deal down there. And obviously we can't control admissions because that's kind of out of our scope, but we can control the outreach that we do have with VP communications and that kind of thing. And so getting kids involved and kind of starting earlier than we do with, even with first years, like even before that, letting people kind of know what the deal is and, how we can move forward is kind of the biggest part for me. I think that's about it. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, Maytab.
What I've seen from other universities, I've seen UBC, they've been celebrating women in engineering and women in science. And so this brings awareness to the fact that women in engineering and computer science. But I feel like the best thing to do would just to bring more awareness to the fact, because I feel like many women do feel underrepresented. And I feel like the best way to actually, go on about that is to bring awareness to that there is actually like women in engineering and computer science. The best thing.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, do you have any other questions for our VP Equity candidates?
How would you make the events that we have even more accessible than what they already are?
So that would be Peter first, yeah.
Yeah. Well, as I said earlier, I think the biggest barrier to entry for most of the events nowadays is just the cost. And with rising cost of living, like people have to pay rent, that kind of thing. Being able to participate in things outside of school without having a second job or without having another stream of income is very difficult. And so I would hopefully like, if I could, to make some sort of like equity scholarship or that kind of thing, like a grant, in the same way that we have micro grants on campus for like those, like the student feast night, where you can have a dinner with your friends and just kind of, sit down and enjoy a nice conversation and some good dinner. Making a grant like that for the ECSS to allow people to participate in everything that we offer, I think would just be I guess, a quick and easy thing to do.
Awesome.
So I was saying before about having a survey after all of our events to get feedback. I think listening to the students, for example, like maybe people with disabilities felt like they couldn't participate and say like order a pie for some reason, then we can work on that and kind of come up with solution with the students to see what we could do for that. But as for making the events, I do agree that cost is a big factor into why people choose to go to events or not. And I think the best thing to do is try to come up with free events in a way that everyone can join, preferably on campus. I think that would be easier.
Awesome, thank you. Arden?
Yeah, I don't mean to repeat both of the previous candidates, but I do agree with the fact of more so that on more on-campus events that it's known that UVic students can get to would treat or allow more students to get them, as well as them being a little bit earlier in the day than the evening would maybe be a good, would give it a better chance. Additionally, I think that Beyonce has done a great job with the accessibility icons that she has done or started implementing last year. And I think that the next step in that would actually be more so trying to increase our outreach in terms of trying to I've talked about it before, but trying to get more of a weekly newsletter, more of a thing that's not algorithm based, that students can actually read or see. Something like physical posters may do, but it requires people to actually look at a community board on campus. So maybe allowing people to subscribe to a mailing list, such as what the Lamppost of Victoria has, that would allow people to be more aware of these events and allow them to attend them more.
Awesome, thank you. Next up, we have Peter.
We're done.
Oh, we're done. I'm sorry. All right, do we have any other questions for EP Equity? We'll take two more before we go on to the next position. So anyone that hasn't asked a question before we go to people that already have? Or does no one have questions at all? Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you to our EP Equity candidates. Great platforms, great everything, and yeah, voting up to state, but we'll get to the next position. So thank you. Yeah, please go back to your seats. Okay, who are we doing next? We'll do VP Communications next. So you two.
Wheel. Sure. Let's get
Wheel?
Wheel.
You want wheel? It's
Yeah,
a,
I guess so.
okay,
Everyone wants.
okay.
People can cheat at rock, paper, scissors.
How?
Don't ask Eric, puppy.
No, no.
True reactions.
Yeah.
It's me. It's me.
Okay, Alina's going first. So please both of you come up to the stage, I guess. So we'll do the same thing. We'll have the first person who gives their a 2-minute little speech, and same thing with the second person, then we'll take questions from the floor. So Alina, yeah, you can start with your speech first if you like, and please be in front of the computer.
Hi, I'm Elena. I'm also in first year engineering undeclared and also hoping to go into mech, but you never know what's going to happen. Currently, along with myself, I'm the co-director of charity. So I just finished running Order of Pi, which was part of what inspired me to apply for this role. Being in first year, I think in the first part of the year, there's so much emphasis on getting the most out of your experience and like going to everything that you possibly can and meeting a bunch of people and experiencing, academic success as well as social success. And the ECSS definitely, there's pot painting and tote bag painting and lots of painting events, common theme. But I think the communication is just sort of focused on it's focused less on telling people about what the event is going to be like and more just sort of a necessity of when it's going to happen. And I think a lot of our events, like even this one, kind of suffers in attendance because people aren't sure what is going to happen. And I think it needs to be less about quantity of communication and more about being direct and efficient with what's going to happen.
Awesome. We'll let Aaron have the floor now.
All right. Hey guys, I'm Aaron Uy. That's how you pronounce it. I'm a first year from the Philippines back in the oh my goodness. No, it's my first time, so yeah. No, but yeah, I'm a first year undeclared engineering student. I'm hoping to get into electrical. It is a hard course, but we'll see. Moved here from the Philippines in 2019, stayed in the North Island for about 5 years, and moved here to the beautiful city of Victoria just this fall, yeah. So my main thing about running for VP Communications is that I think that a lot of the first years that I've known so far just have not known what we do, what the ECSS has to offer. I remember my first year, what was it, the bag giving? Going to the what's it called, the Engineering 130 lecture, and the ECSS president or something, some members I think, they were giving out bags, right, and telling us about the ECSS, right, and that led me to the lounge and everything, which is really and honestly a great space to communicate with your other engineering students, just getting to know hang out with friends and everything. And it's also just a really useful space just, for, food and everything. But not just that, the main thing about our communications right now is that they just don't know. We post on Instagram, yeah, but the thing is, everywhere else, it's just they don't really care as much. They would see the post and they were like, "Oh, cool," and they might just like shrug it off. So my main thing with being VP communications or well, of being elected is to honestly just spread the word about the ECSS. One of my biggest talking points for this one is sorry. Oh, AScience. Just basically have creative advertising and just emphasizing, community, the benefits we have and just revert. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome, thank you. All right, we'll get into questions. All right, we have a question from here, and Elena will answer first.
So just like even as a second year student, I sometimes find it hard with all the stuff that's on social media from all the different groups to keep up with what's happening with ECS and like have the time to go through all the posts. So do you guys have a strategy on how you're gonna better advertise to everybody in ECS to like let them know the events better, keep more concise? And I'm not that creative, so I'm fine.
No, I mean, I think that's the whole point of the role of VP communications is making our current system more efficient and reach more people. Actually, both of us have this in our platform is sort of revamping the ECSS website. The main thing that you said about social media is an issue that I have because, Instagram is it's a scary place, to be honest. And I try to get off of Instagram as much as I can, but it's also the main place that I get information about events. Like the ECSS Instagram is a really great resource because, on their story, they repost clubs and their events. There's also the Eng undergrad, I believe the name is, the email chain. And then there's the ECSS Discord and the website, which does have an embedded Google Calendar, but doesn't actually have any club events on it. So if elected, I propose sort of kind of streamlining our communication by on the website having very clear events that different clubs can post onto. So whether that's just having like a Google Drive that, one executive of each club has access to and can add events to. The Instagram, I think, is a great place for entertainment and engagement, less so than, like discipline nights or just more general career help, which I think the email could be expanded on. But yeah, I think just kind of decluttering all of the communications and having email be more academic, Instagram be more social and club based, and then having the ECSS website really be a hub of all of that. And if it's your first year, you don't know what to do, you go on the website and you can see very clearly all of the events that different clubs are running.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, that was a really great talking point, Elenia. I do think that it is on my platform wall that we need to revamp the ECSS website because right now I just think it looks a little bit bland, kind of uninteresting. It was made on Google Sites, and I also talked with who was it, Jay there in the back that he was proposing to actually switch from Wix, which obviously will look more professional. It will have a lot more customizability. And overall, it will just look a lot more like nicer and cleaner and just more eye attention. Like it'll grab more attention from whoever goes on it. And I also think on the website, it does look a little bit unorganized where we and because it's just kind of unassuming where you cannot really find a lot of the important information. Like for example, we have discipline handbooks, right? That are a great way to guide you into your discipline, right? But other than that, other than the website, just to answer your question, one of my biggest selling points as well is just obviously use Instagram to its highest capability that we have because it is by far the biggest way to reach other students, and obviously leveraging the fact that we also have other forms of communication like email. We had a newsletter that was running, I think, is that correct? I was thinking of also trying to get that back up and running, maybe discuss with the future council and utilize also the link tree that we have. I've not gone on there one time yet, but I would like that being used more, maybe on a QR code, and maybe like some brochures. And also, honestly, just word of mouth. That's probably the easiest way to spread information from the ECSS. And yeah.
Awesome, thank you, Aaron. Any other questions for VP Communications candidates? Yes.
I know you both want to revamp the website, but no matter how great the website will be, if people don't know about it, then it's not going to make too much impact. How are you gonna get more people to know about our website?
Yeah, Aaron goes first, and yeah, just keep in mind it's minute limit for each response, so, but yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, just to answer your question, I feel like we aren't advertising it enough, if I'm being really honest. Like on events that we hold, if there's any information that they might want to see, right? This was also a talking point for you, Elena, that we should have like a space on the website where all the information is about for events. So let's say, or a pilot that just happened this week, right? There was a lot of ways like we could probably have a form there for people to apply instead of just like having a separate form to have people nominate someone, right? So honestly, it's just mostly just kind of directing a lot of the things that they want to know onto the website instead of having it in different places, or like just not literally dumping everything on the Instagram. Like it is like what you also said, Elena, that just like it's not really a place for, for all the information. So I feel like just directing all the information to the website would make it more useful.
Awesome, thank you, Aaron. Elena?
Again, Aaron and I agree on a lot of things. I agree. I honestly think that forcing people to go on the website, not, aggressively, but by making them have to go through there for buying tickets for different events, for, the exam bank, for just general announcements. I think if you make the website a hub, then people will naturally, navigate there instead of to a bunch of different things. Like even the example of our link tree, the fact that we have to have so many links instead of just a central place where we're able to see all of the information at once is kind of surprising. I think, when you go onto a website, you're there for what you need to do, and then you also browse and see what else is available. But I think by just, generally increasing word of mouth of the ECSS, the website traffic will sort of follow from that.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions for our VP Communications candidates? Yep.
What's the current VP communication has done that you want to change or improve upon?
Elena, you go first.
Very elusive current VP Communications. I don't know who that is. Yeah, I really like what you've done with the Instagram. I know at the start of the year you had like the introductions for each of the council members. And I think, Aaron talks about this a lot, but just using Instagram and the Reels feature, that is where a lot of people are, unfortunately, myself included, spending their time. So just sort of making the ECSS more casual and more inviting, like a lower barrier to entry, I guess, versus seeming very official and only having like our Discord and website and email be the focus. So I really like what you've done. Accessibility icons were mentioned with the VP equity. That's great. But just generally, I'd say the very casual vibe of showing that we're more than just an association and that everyone involved is working for the students is great.
Awesome, thank you. Aaron?
Right. Honestly, the current VP communications right now is doing a really, really good job about managing online communication. There's really, there is a lot of things that can be improved. First of all, I just want to again emphasize on the fact that a lot of information is just very cluttered. We have to go everywhere to just, find like, again, the exam bank if you want to like grab exams to study from. And obviously, again, the discipline handbooks where to find the events. And yeah, again, also the accessibility items are really good too. That was a really good addition to the ECSS Instagram post. But other than that, I would just kind of like continue doing what they do because so far it has been, it looks like it is going to be a very smooth and very fluid transition. Yeah.
Any other questions for, okay,
Um, okay, this may be a bit of a hard question, and if you don't have an answer, that's fine. And it's also inspired from someone else. But a lot of engineering students and computer science students are statistically more introverted. And they might be scared to come out to these events and talk to random people. Is there any way that you're able to mitigate and help with that?
Aaron first.
Yeah, that is a really good point. I know a lot of people who just kind of, sit by them, well, not sit by themselves, but like they just kind of stick to themselves, just, eating alone. And that just makes me sad that, that they don't get, any attention. Okay, that might be very bad, but but to say the least, I think it's nice that we have this space in the ECSS lounge that they can come to and just have people to talk to, and I feel like we can do a lot better in just kind of like welcoming people inside the space, because at first it may seem intimidating that it's not, you don't know really any people there, but just kind of like talking to them and just kind of like introducing yourself, casual conversations, and that will just naturally lead into more, more, some like prefer a more general like friendship and like kind of like community building in that sense. Yeah.
Elena,
I know that I, especially to you, seem probably pretty extroverted, like I kind of don't stop talking, but I would honestly consider myself a pretty, outside of the people that I talk to here, I mostly keep to myself, and especially at the start of the year, moving is a big deal. Engineering for sure is difficult every year, not just in your first year, and so some people genuinely are introverted, and other people just kind of feel like they don't have time to have fun, or the kind of guilt that you get from spending your time doing things other than studying. I think as Aaron mentioned, like person to person communication, like word of mouth, is honestly the best way to get over that. Speaking from experience, you see a poster for an event and you go, oh, that looks fun. Then it's like, oh, do I know anyone going? I'm scared to go to this if I don't know anyone. So really like reaching out in person to people, going to classes, being in the hallway, just make. Anyway.
all right, any other questions for VP Communications candidates? No, awesome. All right, you guys can take a seat. Next slide. All right. Next up, we'll have VP internal candidates. So can Scarlett and Lily come up? And we'll spin the wheel again.
Feel, come on. Internal,
Okay, so guys, quiet, please. Guys. No. Okay, Scarlett will be going first. So Scarlett, you'll be given 2 minutes to give your little introduction, and then Lily, then we'll take questions.
Great. Hi, my name's Scarlett, and I'm currently in the running for VP Internal, as you know. I'm a first year engineering student hoping to get into mechanical engineering. And through my first year at UVic, I've really come to appreciate the community I've been gifted. It truly is a wonderful one in every way. My experience as first year rep has taught me that I deeply appreciate each and every one of you who take your time to volunteer and who take your time to help make this community better. And as VP Internal, I wish to do my best to help protect this community and advocate for it. Utilizing my experience as first year rep, as well as my mentorship from Matthew, informal mentorship. I plan to optimize what our current internal policies look like. For instance, as first year rep, I've leveraged my position to work on the creation of a new role in the ECSS, the Director of Accessibility, somebody who would assist VP Equity in the accessibility of all events, assist them in ensuring that everything is run according to plan. And that's something I've worked a lot on the creation with, of course, with Matthew's help. And it's that kind of work I want to bring to the ECSS, and I want to continue to do to help improve our community. Thank you.
Yes, Lily, you can come up. All right.
Hey, hi there. My name's Lily. I'm a second year electrical engineering student here at UVic. I've been at UVic for 2 years now, taking part in a couple clubs here and there, UVSD electrical design team and the Formula Racing electrical team as well. So I kind of, and through my role as secretary on the ECSS, I've gained a little bit more of an idea of what the engineering student experience is here at UVic. Although I don't know everything, and everyone's perspective is different. So and running for VP internal and going into the role, definitely continuing to do what Matthew has done. He's done a great job. So fulfilling all the things that he's done this year, and then also just kind of increasing transparency in decision making. Definitely, I want to hear more from what the students have to say. So reaching out with surveys when making decisions about, policy, academics, social stuff. I think that's very important because, yeah, many voices is better than one. Thank you.
All right, now we'll take candidates for our VP internal candidates. Questions for our VP internal candidates. So first up, we have Jay, and Scarlett, you will answer first.
What do you plan to kind of, as internal, you're working with the faculty to make changes to academics as well as the faculty, but what do you plan to make changes in the academics?
Scarlett, take the floor. We'll give it a minute.
Thank you so much for the question. I've actually received quite a few complaints over my time as first year rep about the state of academics at UVic, in the sense that we have a lack of practice materials for some of the courses, particularly Chem 150. So I think the first thing I would do is actually advocate for more practice material. I'd advocate for more quizzes, for more, not quizzes, sorry, for more practice material in terms of midterms, in terms of general worksheets, something that may resemble the midterms a bit more, hopefully, but it's really just advocating for what people want, for what people feel are the most important thing. So yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, Lily, you'll be given a minute.
Yeah, definitely to echo what Scarlett said, advocating for what people need. So definitely, yeah, hearing more from students on that is important. Something I've experienced, I transferred into engineering this year. The course offerings are brutal. This semester, I was unable to take any electrical engineering courses because there are no second year electrical courses in second semester, or I guess term 2B. So just maybe kind of improving that a little bit. And also our labs could be better. I haven't experienced the third year labs yet, but our second year labs were very lackluster. Of course, there's not much you can do with limited theory, but yeah, definitely just kind of building better skills in our labs for kind of preparing for co-ops. Obviously, design teams are great, but not everyone has time for that. So definitely labs need work. Thank you.
All right, any other questions for VPI candidates? Jay, you have another one? Oh, actually, Elena has her, we'll go with Elena first.
This is sort of just like relating to the question that was just asked. Obviously, academically, a lot of people have a lot of things to say. And, I think if you're the face of the students of UVic, what sort of experience do you have with like communicating things to a faculty that, might not be the most willing to change, and what specific like outreach strategies to the faculty or sort of mediation techniques
Lily would go for this person as well.
To be honest, I haven't had much experience with this yet. I'm currently on the search committee for the new Associate Dean of Undergraduate Programs. So I am representing undergraduate students currently on that. We've had our first meeting. There's more to come in April. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more kind of experience there. But yeah, definitely just building good connections within the faculty, attending office hours, being respectful, that puts you in a better position to, ask for things, and to push a little bit harder. So hopefully I've done that so far in my undergraduate career. But yeah, I'm coming in a bit green, I'll be honest. Thank you.
Scarlett?
So at the risk of sounding like I peaked in high school, one of my pushes at my high school was actually for the advocacy of our robotics extracurricular club that was not associated with the school, but was held at the school to be turned into a class due to the large amount of time we spent, at the school building the robot, working on it. It was FRC, so if any of you are familiar with that, lots of time investment. Personally, I was at the school till 10 p.m. some nights, 3 a.m. other nights. We don't talk about it. But what faculty really want is a well-presented, clear, logical argument. If you sit down with the faculty and you say, hey, I really want to do this because of vibes, there's a high likelihood they're going to be like, no way. But if you sit down and you have a logical plan with steps on how you're going to achieve it and research as to why this works, as well as, any kind of general anonymized, obviously, complaints, then they tend to open their ears a lot more. Thank you.
Any other questions for, Peter?
What do you guys think the ECSS's capacity is to affect change on campus compared to other groups like the Senate?
Scarlett, you first.
So we actually have a huge advantage as compared to the Senate. If you're talking about like the large governing body of Victoria, then they handle all schools in BC, right? Here we have our community, and because of that, we're able to have a lot more one-on-one chats with people. For instance, our current VPF Equity, Matthew, is working, and as well as Arden, actually, they worked a lot on the ECS store in order to make sure it was at cost and operational. In terms of impact of what we can do, it's really limitless. It's whatever we have basically set our sights on doing. I think we have the capacity to make a lot of change in school. Thank you so much.
Okay, Lily?
Definitely to echo what Scarlett said, we like as a community, we have a lot of change that we can make just as our student body. And I think, we've done so in the past with a very abysmal student involvement. And so I think moving forward into this next year, with more student voices involved, just outside of our club, because we've already been able to do so much, I think we're capable of so much more this year. Thank you.
Any other questions? Jared?
I know our society is huge. It's engineering, all 5 or 6 different engineerings and computer science and many different Euro standings. And as individuals, a lot about your current year or your current discipline, but how you plan to get student voices from I don't know, a different discipline or a higher year student.
So Lily?
I think to answer your question, definitely taking advantage of or utilizing is a better word, utilizing our discipline reps. So as VP internal, we get discipline reps, so we'll kind of defer to them on reaching out to their relative disciplines. I would say, given my involvement in a bunch of multidiscipline clubs, that will definitely help. But again, I'm one voice out of so many. So I think just general student involvement, general outreach, more surveys will be very important in doing that. But definitely, yeah, getting our discipline reps working and doing their job, reaching out to their students in their discipline will be very important for that. Thank you.
Just to echo what Lily said, you know them, you love them. Surveys are the best way to get information out of our student population at a large scale. In addition to advertisement via our lovely advertisement team here on the ECSS, it's really all about outreach. I personally cannot see from everybody's point of view. I am not a biomedical engineer. I am not a, I'm not a computer science major. I just am one person. And by asking our general student population properly via surveys, via advertisement, we can really get different viewpoints on options and opinions, right? Thank you so much.
All right, we'll take one more question if we have any for VPI candidates. Do we have any more questions? Any other questions online? No. No questions? All right, well, thank you to our VPI candidates, and yeah, we'll do our VP external next. Yeah, we'll do another spin of the wheel. Okay.
So your platform really showing.
All right.
No.
Okay, so first we'll have Monroe. All right, guys, quiet, please. All right, so we'll start with Monroe. Monroe, you have 2 minutes to give a little background about yourself, and then, yeah.
And then also platform?
Yeah, whatever you want to say in those 2 minutes. Yeah. It could be platform and background or both of them. Okay. All right, we'll start now, and please in front of the.
So I'm a 4th-year software engineering student. I'm actually thinking about swapping into computer engineering, which will set me back a little bit, but but it's what I'm interested in because I like to do like satellites, and that's a very like software, but also electrical, shout out satellite, electrical field. I have been involved with ECSS for a couple of years now in a couple of roles. I was VP comms for a period, and then I have been director of social events for a period. And through that, I've run a bunch of triple E's, and then also outside of the ECSS, I've run the NASA Space Apps Hackathon. And through this, I think there's cumulatively, I think that's participation from about 750 ECSS students. So it's a great way to drive involvement with our community, and it's also a great source of learning how to organize things. But I should probably start on my platform, hey. So I think I gotta be in front of the camera. As a student, your identity and your purpose kind of falls apart when you move to university. You don't know anybody, you don't know what you're gonna do, haven't had the experience to know what you like or are interested in. So my biggest things would be that I want to give some sort of direction to students. So that's through driving community, that's through driving engagement with ECSS. The ECSS is a great way to fall into other opportunities, whether that's through clubs or whether that's through organizing positions, great experience. And I want to use competitions and conferences to develop students, because I think that extracurriculars are 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Extracurriculars are great. They make you great students. They make you confident and competent, and then you have a great career.
There's more than that.
All right. There you go now. Let me know when you're ready.
Awesome. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Luis. For those who don't know me, I'm a 2nd-year biomedical engineer. Just to give you a little bit about background of me and like what kind of qualities I have that are suitable for this role. I am actually the executive director and founder of a youth-led nonprofit that focuses on empowering youth, giving them the tools through the workshops and different programs that we do to be leaders in their community. I also am a project manager for a development project out in Souk, called the Souk Bowling Alley Project. Not very creative name, but basically we're building a bowling alley on Souk. So you might be wondering like, okay, these are all really cool, but how do they make you like a good candidate? So these tools, they give me the management skills, they give me the leadership skills and the experience I need to run large scale events, such as like the UVEC, and also organize training for the different workshops that we need to get our students prepared to represent UVic proud at the different conferences that we go to. And they also give me all the connections in the community as a local member of the community who's super involved to get more sponsorship for UVEC. So one of my bigger goals for the platform, the money, is I want to get more streams at UVEC. I want to get involved in more conferences. I want to get more sponsorships because, as Monroe has mentioned, this is a great way for students to get involved. It's a great way to build their career, to build more connections with people in the community, to help with co-ops. So the more we can offer, the more inclusive we can be to more students at UVic, I think the better it can be. And lastly, just going on to the idea of conferences, I wanted to create like an ethical, just process for selecting those candidates to make sure that UVic is represented by those who should be representing us and making us proud, and as well as making sure that the UVic voice is heard at West, or the Canadian Federation of Engineering Students. It's represented. All the opinions that we have here are properly represented there and are heard and actions taken based on them. So yeah, thank you so much.
All right, any questions for our VP external candidates? Jay?
Yeah, it's always me, but, well, VP external is actually only allowed to be run by engineering students, but ECSS also includes computer science. I was wondering if any of you had any sort of anything to help with computer science, reach, I guess, the same things that engineering speak discuss.
So Monroe will go first for this question. What? No, he'll go first the next one. All right.
So it is deeply unfortunate that a lot of our events cannot include computer science students. But one of the ways that I want to help combat that is to set up more local events and set up more more local hackathons and regional hackathons for especially computer science students. I mentioned NASA Space Apps earlier. That was actually a space hackathon that I was involved in organizing in October. So, and that was right on campus. So it's very accessible. There's no travel fees. There's no barriers to that. And I want to talk to other schools from across the country, because any problem we have, it's not a new problem. It's if we're trying to go from scratch, we're reinventing the wheel. So I'm going to see how other people have dealt with it and go from there.
Good. Louise?
Kind of just to echo what Monroe said here, one of my biggest goals again is to add more streams to UPEC, because I feel like sometimes it leaves out some of those competitions that are not included unless it include a lot of the computer engineering students. So I remember last year with Mitchell, he added an extra hackathon in there, and then they paid for those students to go to Vancouver to do one of those competitions. And that's kind of just want to bring more sponsorship to that, to include more of the computer engineering students. I'm not a computer science student, so one of the things that I also feel like doing is reaching out to those computer science students. Like, what opportunities do you guys want to be involved in, and how can we get it done? I don't know. I'm a biomedical engineering student. I don't have much experience with coding. I barely code a website to get it to work. So yeah, just reaching out and learning from the people who this is affecting, I think would be the most effective way.
Awesome, thank you. All right, any more questions for our VP external candidates? Olena?
This was mentioned by all the VP equity candidates, but one of the biggest hurdles for getting students involved is cost. And especially with everything that VP External works with, like conferences are insanely expensive, not just with money, but also with time. And, engineering and computer science students are already so busy, and, having to like miss even a day or two can really make a difference, or just like not having a free weekend to work on things. So what, I guess, strategies would you maybe implement to lessen that burden?
Louise will be first this time.
Okay, as I had mentioned, one of the things I really want to do is reach out to more community members. We have a very giving community here in UVic and here in Victoria that could really offer a lot. So just get more sponsorships there to help lower some of the costs. in terms of time, it is an unfortunate thing that engineering students don't have that much time. We just can't invent 25 hours a day. But maybe strategically placing some of those conferences or some of those days or some of those competitions on days which are known to be less busy for most of the students could be one way to mitigate that. Maybe like during some of the reading breaks where students have a little bit more extra free time to have those competitions so they can focus and be able to commit that time to it.
Monroe?
Do you want to repeat the question just before we kick off? Possibly, is that allowed?
Yeah.
Do you want to repeat the question?
What strategies do you have for lessening cost burden as well as kind of the issue that a lot of students have with timing and academic issues? For conferences specifically, and like that.
Very good.
So to an extent, there's a financial burden that we can't reduce, or we can't eliminate, but we can mitigate it. We can reduce the financial burden when we can, either by outside sponsorships or through ECS funding, which we do. And one way that we can, I guess, mitigate the problem, even if we can't do anything about the funding, is we can prepare students for these conferences to make sure that the people who do go are going to get the most out of it that they possibly can, and we can build a strong interviewing and recruiting pipeline so that not only is it easier for people to engage with the conference process, but also there'll be a more clear path for how to engage with it and for, as I said, and it'll take them less time because it'll actually be a clear set of steps.
All right, any more questions from VP External? Yeah.
So I know that you're both very busy people from what you guys have talked about with all your other stuff you're doing. VP External is like one of the busiest roles on you. So you've got to go to different places. You have a lot of to do. So how do you plan to not get burned out, I guess?
All right, Monroe's first.
So what I touched on a bit in my last one is I want to build more frameworks, more clear, I guess, institutional structures so that we're not reinventing the wheel every time that we do something. One benefit of that is that it takes a lot of organizing energy, both off of the person organizing the event or the activity, and it also makes it much more clear and consistent for those engaging with it, because they don't have to hear about it by word of mouth or what have you there. And actually, do you want to repeat the question real quick? You don't have to stop the time for that.
Yeah, so VP External is a very, very busy role. And you both are doing lots of other stuff outside of ECSS.
Right.
How do you
So I've, through the ECSS and through some other executive positions I've been in, and then also through work, I've gotten pretty good at, I guess, project planning and like managing my course load or my task load. So I think I've got a good amount of experience about not taking on what I don't need to take on and then handling what I have taken on. And I'm gonna draw, I believe my time's probably done. How long did you want it before? Yeah, it's done, okay.
Just to echo a little bit off of what Monroe has said, the fact that we are busy does give us a bit of an advantage because we are used to this heavy workload. We're used to like managing our time properly, knowing where to allocate different stuff. And one of the things I also want to do is build kind of, as Keith mentioned, some kind of framework for how things are going to get done. So we're not putting in the time every week, but there's a plan that we can work on. It's very logical, so it's less time consuming, and also maybe hand that off to the next VP External, so that position that seems very daunting can become a little bit less daunting and focus on new change and new additions to the program instead of just redoing the same thing over and over.
Any more questions for VP External candidates? No questions? All right, what we'll do is we still have like 2 candidates to go through, so we'll take a quick pizza break. Then we'll get back to this afterwards. But thank you to our VP External candidates. So yeah, pizza's at the very back. I think 2 slices. And then take a seat afterwards, and we'll get started again in 10 minutes. I mean, that's a nice.
About the hours. I think that's really good.
There's no one to look at. After this.
I think there's like very first launch and I love it.
Oh, you like
Just you have a slow try. But not even something. My parents really do it.
Sorry, we're just gonna pause for a little bit, then we'll get back to it after the pizza break. All right, next up, we have our VP corporate candidate. We have one candidate. You'll be given 2 minutes to give your little platform, and then we'll take questions. And please speak in front of us out there.
Everyone, I'm Arfaz. For those who don't know me, I am a fourth year software engineering student at UVic. I have worked with ECSS for a while now, for a couple of years, as communications director, graphics coordinator, sponsorship coordinator, and also most recently LinkedIn coordinator. I also have worked with Bike Labs and a couple of other clubs at UVic and have represented UVic at national conferences. So one of the reasons I'm running for corporate relations is because I have experience in the corporate team for a while now. I have worked with the co-op office and in LinkedIn and in multiple industrial places where I have met different people and have talked about different events that we host here. One of the things that I found interesting is that even though we have a really good presence in Instagram and in a lot of other social networks, we don't have that much of a well-known, well-established presence in LinkedIn. So as corporate relations, I want to kind of like focus on that. I want to make more posts. I want to also send more emails to different companies and for different events that we host so we can get more sponsorships. At the same time, I also I have been reached out to the co-op office while I was working as in the corporate team for different for different events that UVic hosts where they didn't have that many candidates. I know for a fact that first and second year students especially feel that they don't have enough experience in the resumes and stuff. So I want to work on that and make more reach out to more students for that. Yeah, thank you so much.
Welcome. All right, do we have any questions for our candidate? Jay? Actually, no, we'll let Aaron go. You've asked so many questions. And just, you can just stay there. You don't have to move.
And so you know how hard it is to to get come up with, especially first year, just because a lot of companies are just they were looking for people who are more experienced. How do you plan to kind of convince them? Well, not convince them, but to kind of make them see how valuable our first years are, because sometimes they don't know they actually have really really valuable experience. Right?
Yeah.
So just basically yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. In my experience, I think a lot of students, I think Elena mentioned that Instagram can be a really difficult place, or for some students, LinkedIn is scary. So a lot of students actually really feel scared about what they're posting on LinkedIn and even having a presence there. So as LinkedIn coordinator, I work with Matthew to have LinkedIn events where I talk about how we can kind of structure it better, how to navigate, how to post, and how to reach out to different people in the industry. I feel I want to do that more. I also want to work with co-op office with having resume events where students can come and give their resume and then they can check if it's better, if there's something that they can work on. I personally have worked with them, so I want to do that more. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, next question.
So I just know from my own biomedical engineering discipline is that there wasn't as much engagement. Jay put on an awesome show with the professors and everybody shot that he brought, but there wasn't a lot of people that knew about it or were motivated to go. Do you have any strategies for addressing that? Because I know it's very valuable times to connect with people in industry that you don't usually get a chance to do that.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the first part of the question.
Just with discipline days, I came from my environment, discipline days, there wasn't a lot of people there, even though the percentages were great, there were valuable people who hired co-ops in the community.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that I would address for that is I would have an email thread to different people, to the students of UVic. I'll also make a LinkedIn post. I think Jay already did that, but if I think there are less students coming in that discipline days, I would post more on LinkedIn. I would make sure that would happen more. I'd also work with VV Communications to post it on Instagram at the same time and other socials. Yeah, so these are the kind of things that I would do personally. But yeah, I think reaching out to students can be a bit difficult, especially when you have a lot of midterms coming up. So a lot of people actually they register, but then they kind of have other important priorities that come up. So yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions for VP Corporate? Jay?
So I know the VP corporate that's currently doing it pretty well, actually. So something he's been struggling with was to plan ahead for events and a semester early. And due to that, he wasn't able to get that many judges or that many speakers for disciplines. What's kind of your action plan to, I guess, plan ahead?
I think what I would do differently is reach out to different communities and companies, and LinkedIn posts at the same time would actually work great. ECS has already a really good LinkedIn presence, and I personally sometimes repost a lot of student posts, and we get a lot of reach from companies as well. I think if I were VP corporate, I would do that a lot before, knowing that we have discipline days coming up. And at the same time, I would also make sure to post it on Instagram as well. I do that already for UVic Hacks and Bike Labs. And whenever we have any hackathons coming up, we post it a lot before so that people can know that this is coming up. So I think that's something that we can do. Thank you.
Any other questions for VP Corporate? All right, Jay, actually, Arden, we'll go to you.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious. So in the CSS, there isn't a lot of more so, how to put this, like initiatives for like supporting co-op or like supporting co-op students. I was just kind of curious if you have any ideas for how to support students in getting co-ops. More so, not necessarily like doing events or sorry, not like resume writing events, but more so like talking with a co-op office or like more so trying to help students on a per student basis, not trying to help them with resumes and stuff like that. Just curious if you had any ideas about that.
Yeah, so while I was working as the LinkedIn coordinator, I was reached out by Carrie, and I think a lot of you might know Carrie White, an awesome coordinator, really helped me. I think she was having resume events, and she was asking if whether ECSS can kind of like coordinate and do something about it or post it. I think if I were VP corporate, I would try to do more as often, and I would reach out to Carrie and a lot of other people in the industry to actually have a one-on-one session with students if it's something that we would be looking into. And at the same time, I feel like that would give students a lot more ideas of like what they can better in terms of their LinkedIn presence and resumes at the same time.
Awesome. Any other questions? Jay?
So in spring, we have this days and in fall, we have feedback. I know that you'll be going into the role right into summer. Do you have any events like that you think would work in the summer? Any ideas?
I think I want to do the LinkedIn or professional industry like how to kind of better yourself or have a industry presence events where people can kind of learn how to better their resume and also how to kind of like approach different industry. I think engineering and computer science is a field where a lot of people I know personally are very introverts, including me. I feel like these kind of events can kind of help people who have difficulty navigating the industrial people to kind of like reach out to them and like text them and also like talk to them. Yeah.
Any other questions? No? All right, that will be a wrap for VP corporate candidate. Thanks for bringing it up. Now, finally, we have our VP student life candidate. She could not be here, but I have a statement I'm going to read from her. So let me just read this out to you all. Hi, everyone. Sorry I could not be present for the Q&A today. I've been sick and I'm not quite well enough to join online. As you may have read in my platform, I am a third-year civil engineering student who has been involved in the ECSS since my first year and have gained experience through roles such as secretary, director of outreach, director of merch, and VP equity. I'm excited to bring my experience as the outreach coordinator of UX to identify new ways UCSS can interact and assist the clubs. I'm also dedicated to improving the student experience, student spaces, and a representation on campus. Please check out my platform if you haven't done so already, and feel free to talk to me in person or ask questions by emailing me at sophiebouchard@uvic.ca. So yeah, that's our statement from our VP student life candidate, Sophie Bouchard. Yeah, you can find her platform online on the website, and yeah, her email is just her first name and last name at uvic.ca. But otherwise, we are done for today. Thank you everyone for coming. Voting opens tonight at 12:01 a.m. Please make sure you take a look through everyone's platforms, consider what you heard tonight before making your vote. And yeah, good luck to all our candidates. Thank you everyone.